What up, critters? I think it's time to consider what the biggest questions that were from episode 1 of campaign 4. The biggest question overall, I think, number 1 is, what was the Falconers' Rebellion? Now, clearly Aramán rebelled against their gods, and that happened almost a century ago. But I think the Falconers' Rebellion is referring to a second rebellion that happened later, after the fall of the gods. Is this just a case of one institution falls and another one takes its place to become just as corrupt as the other, falling into the same faults or completely new faults of its own, and just shows that power corrupts? Doesn't matter whether it was gods or mortals. But yeah, what was the casus belli, the cause for war, and the reasoning for the Falconers' Rebellion? Who was taking place in the Falconers' Rebellion? How did the Falconers' Rebellion seemingly lose, as it seems it was not successful, as Thjazi calls out, "I can still hear the falcons cry," right before he dies, and then that's when he's hung, as clearly the people in power were not approving of this Falconers' Rebellion. So how did it not work? Why did it start? And yeah, that's really, I think, the crux of our current plot threads is this Falconers' Rebellion. So it'll be interesting to learn more lore about that for sure. Now this leads to our next question. What did Thjazi Fang do? Obviously he did a lot of shit, but what did he do specifically that made the Sundered Houses hang him in this way that shocked so many people, and led to his capture 2 weeks ago by Sir Julian Davinos? And also this leads me to another question. What specifically are the Sundered Houses? Is it the ruling faction of Kahad? Just of Dolmekyar? Kahad being the region, or perhaps the kingdom, or some sort of nation that Dolmekyar resides in? Or is Kahad just a region and a landmass, like, for example, North America? So yeah, what is Kahad and what are the Sundered Houses? Are the Sundered Houses just a ruling faction of the entire world of Aramán, or just Dolmekyar? This also will lead us to who hired that crow-related thieves guild to interrupt Thjazi's escape plan, jumping Thimble. The most obvious answer right away, you'd think, would be the Sundered Houses, the ones that sentenced him to die, right? It was in their vested interest for him to die. But the most obvious answer isn't always the best, It also seems that Thjazi himself had many factions and many enemies. So was it the Sundered Houses, the House of Halavar, the Photarch, who seems the most obvious suspect, right? She's the Photarch being Wikander's grandmother, the one who said, "He's gotta die." So that seems like the first and obvious answer, but knowing Brennan, it's probably not her, There's probably some more things at work here. Who was the mole? Who was the leak that let the plans? Because obviously whoever hired this Crow's assassins, the Crow's Thieves Guild, to come and get Thimble to stop Thjazi's escape, obviously they had to know of that secret hideout, and they had to know of the plan to put the rune on. So there is some sort of mole and a leak somewhere within their chain. Is it a player character? Spicy, or is it one of these NPCs that Brennan named when he was explaining the ins and outs of the plan? Brennan names, of course, Thimble, makes the rune, places it. Then he named some horse guy, brings the carriage. Then he named Azune, obviously, for the scan. He named Teor's brother, played some sort of role, which I can't recall, honestly, at the moment right now. Can you imagine if Teor's brother was becoming an antagonist, and we had some sort of brother fighting rivalry in the beginning of the campaign here? Sheesh. That could be an interesting thing to explore for sure. But yeah, who was this mole, and why did they defect, and who did they tell this information to? Was it the Sundered Houses, or is it some other faction that wants Thjazi dead? Did anyone else notice that a certain relic that seems to be important in the starting of this D&D campaign remind you of another certain relic that has the same name in another famous D&D campaign, kind of in the way? The Night Song. I wonder if Brennan's doing that on purpose, or if that's just a slip of the mind, or if he's not played Baldur's Gate 3. No way, right? Brennan's played Baldur's Gate 3, you'd think, right? Spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3 on the way, by the way, guys. Gonna discuss a little something here. So, the Night Song in the Stone of Night Song in in Aramán in Campaign 4, Brennan discusses that it had a function that an angel, a celestial, once upheld. And in the war against the gods, once this celestial was slain, that elven goddess created the Stone of Night Song to kind of uphold its purpose after that celestial was slain. And back to our spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3 for a moment. The Night Song in Baldur's Gate 3 is a celestial, an angel. Some crazy parallels there, right? You know, they're both called the Night Song. They're both right at the beginning of the game. And, you know, the Night Song, Baldur's Gate 3 is an angel. The Stone of Night Song in Aramán is replacing an angel. So I wonder if that's, I wonder if he's doing that on purpose, just to, you know, kind of, because we know that Aramán's all about like a parallel, right? Like a perpendicular line kind of to Exandria, right? Like we're at the end of what happened in Campaign 3 of Exandria. Brennan is kind of telling the story of, well, what if we had that kind of similar situation and something else happened in another world? Which I also, oh yeah, guys, how much you want to bet that Aramán is either like an alternate reality of Exandria, or it's just another planet in the galaxy ethos of Exandria? Like Exandria is, you know, Earth and Aramán is Mars or some shit like that, you know? Like, I bet they totally link these two together eventually. Calling it here now first. Don't forget, it was me, Lemur. But also, is this back to the Night Song as well into Campaign 4 Aramán. The Night Song is described as having a stone with two wings kind of covering it up, which Brennan quickly says is a nightingale. It's a nightingale, is what you heard. But at the same time, the people who stole the Stone of Night Song, from who stole it, Thjazi, was those crows assassins, crow something assassin thieves guild, right? And, you know, crows, also birds. Stone of Night Song has bird wings. So yeah, is that something there too, that the Crows Guild wants the Stone of Night Song because it also has some sort of bird wing iconography as well? Or is that just another happy mistake? Is it just like 3 coincidences here? I don't know, it's a lot of coincidences piling up, isn't it? And speaking of what did Thjazi do that led the Thundered Houses to sentencing him to die? It seems that some sort of incident happened at a place known as the Crofters Village. This is described in Robbie's third-person description of what Cadican kind of experienced in the days leading up to the execution, which led him to town. Robbie explains that after seeing what happened at the Crofters Village, he had to go into town to drink, which he usually doesn't do. So obviously something fucked up happened at Crofters Village. Perhaps something that Thjazi was involved in or indirectly involved in, you know, him seeing some sort of injustice of the Thundered Houses in power, leading him to reignite some sort of rebellion or try to stand up. Something that maybe happened at this Crofter Village, or was it something else entirely that led to Thjazi's capture? Now I'm going to talk about kind of some more personal character plot threads, the ones that stuck out the most to me. Just, you know, obviously there's other ones I'm missing. Comment down below if you think of any character to character questions, like player character to player character and the relation questions. But the first one for me is, why did Julian hate Thjazi so much? Obviously Julian is a hoity-toity, you know, pompous, that guy, so he wouldn't like a thief, right? You know, because that's, oh, thieves, piece of shit. It was kind of how he would view things, you would think. But it seems in when he's talking about he hated Thjazi, that there is some sort of personal connection there. Is it something to do with the lady Aronia? I can't remember her name actually. The Royce lady, and is he kind of like friend zoned by her, and then because Thjazi had her heart, was he always jealous of that? Is that the real reason he hated him? Perhaps. Or is there more to this? My final thread is, what is the relationship between Taisha and Octus? You know, when Octus goes to take his disguised self, he says the first thing that comes to his head is Taisha's son. So, is that stepdaddy? What y'all think? Could that be stepdaddy there? That's he's raising his own. Like, why is he thinking about Taisha's son so much? You know, are they a little shacking up? Oh, I'll take care of your kid that you never wanted to take care of. Like, obviously Julian said he's been training him, so on and so forth. But yeah, are they just friends, or is that giving you a little stepdaddy vibe? And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video, critters. Leave a like, maybe, you know, little old me, I got a small channel. Any likes and comments goes a long way for me. You know, I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, I'm so excited to hear what you guys think about these plot threads, and which ones did I miss as well. And yeah, love you so much. Thanks for watching. Take care.